Hi and welcome to my channel Unbusy Living. If you're new here, please subscribe so we can journey together to make time for what matters. Today I'm going to talk about how meditation changed my life completely and how it has the potential to change yours too. The first thing that I wanted to walk you through is how my perspective on life has changed, because I used to be the person who looked at life and I tended to perceive everything as a project. Some things were bigger projects, some things were smaller projects, but typically I would look at my life and think, right, I need to study the right things to get a job and make a living. I need to find a boyfriend that is good husband material and then have children and raise them, and then that was another huge project. And everything in my life felt a little bit emotionally unattached when I was younger. I really struggled to emotionally get closer to these concepts. I just looked at everything as if it was this huge project that I needed to tackle, resolve, and ultimately problem solve throughout the way until I get the goal. And there was no concept of enjoy the journey or what makes you happy or what about all the emotions. I was very goal oriented and result focused. And because of that, I wasn't really living. Even when I thought about my life in the long run, I don't think there was a real concept in my head of like, you're gonna grow up and you've got to enjoy life and you've got to live life and you've got to fill it up with really meaningful memories, people, friendships, relationships. And when it came to the idea of having my children, before I had them in my head, it was a really pretty picture, but I really couldn't even envisage or imagine in any way, shape, or form the depth of emotion that is going to be involved in this project. And obviously, later on, all of this blew up, but on the way there, it was being in silence with myself, taking long walks by myself, and generally just spending a few years by myself, single, and living alone, that really helped me get into the first stage of meditating, where I had to be alone with myself in silence. And that is meditation. It's hard for many people because it's uncomfortable. And the first thing you may want to do is turn the TV on or turn on some music or just scroll through some videos to kind of ease that discomfort of I'm alone with myself and I can hear my thoughts and all of them are just coming to me very, very loudly. It can be largely uncomfortable. In the first few years of my life, up to the age of 20, I was absolutely addicted to noise. Whether it was TV in the background, radio in the car, music, something always had to chatter in the background unless I was learning and I was super focused and I needed all of my concentration on it. But I was very doing orientated and just being with myself was the hardest thing. I spent 3 years all by myself, and that was a massive learning curve because I really learned to be alone with my thoughts and emotions and feelings. And this was also the time that I went from almost complete ignorance to who I am and how I function in the world and how I'm not something to shape and mold into how other people want to see me, or not trying to people please pretty much nonstop. I started to go from ignoring myself to slowly building up and noticing my own behavior, noticing my patterns, developing the awareness of how am I behaving in the world, how am I being in the world, what are the patterns where I'm really self-destructive, what are the things that I do to numb my feelings and just push everything down below the surface and pretend that I'm fine, everything's fine. Slowly, through working on accepting silence and being alone and just watch myself, I got to the point where I developed the awareness to change. But first I needed to grab the awareness and see what was happening, discover the destructive patterns, accept those patterns, accept my behavior. I was a people pleaser, absolutely incapable of handling conflict, going into conflict. I would sabotage myself in any way just so that I can avoid conflict. I would mold my opinion, shape what I would say, even how I would dress or behave, so that it suits the audience. There was no thought of, let's just show up as myself. There was no myself. There was no concept of who am I. It was just little masks and roles that I was fulfilling in the different stages of life. And I completely forgot who I was in the background. When I got the awareness, I was ready to change, but it was going really slowly. I was suppressing all of my emotions. Generation, don't cry because that means you're a bad child. So it was quite a learning curve to get from numb into deep feelings. Actually, I am someone by human design, by numerology, by astrology, who was blessed with the ability to feel really deep for other people. And this can be overwhelming because it's not just that I see something sad, I feel it deep inside my body. And this was overwhelming to me, especially because I didn't quite understand why my natural defense mechanism shut this down early. And I'm only recently learning and starting to opening my heart space up a lot more through meditation, through visualization and grounding. The more grounded I am, the more I can feel and it doesn't overwhelm me. At early stages of my life, I didn't know what grounding was. Although I spent a lot of time outdoors, it was still very challenging to take on other people's feelings and feel them so deeply. Every time we went to a funeral, even if it was someone I didn't know, I would just cry my eyes out. And my parents were like, you don't even know who this person is. Why are you crying? And I really did not understand. But now I understand that I'm just a person who can feel everything like 60 layers deeper than the average person. It was really hard for me and I completely shut it down. But this meant that I was numb. I was just walking through life, not really allowing myself to feel anything, whether it was sadness or joy. The trouble with this kind of defense mechanism is that you're not just saving yourself from the negative emotions, you're also holding yourself back when it comes to joy and love and happiness and fun. I was having very little fun. I was super busy. I probably planned about 30 hours in a single day at any given time. I was very, very busy, but having fun or being happy or doing something for myself or fulfilling my need for creativity and self-care, things like that was basically non-existent in the first 25 years of my life. When I started to meditate a lot more, I started to feel deeper. I was working on opening my heart space up and just being able to learn how to be sad and also learning that it's okay. And then there's fear, right? When it comes to heavy emotions, we have fear of the emotion because we're afraid that if we let ourselves be sad, we'll just be sad forever. As if only that was a thing. Sadness comes and goes as easy as joy. Heavy emotions come and go just as easy as the good ones. Anger comes and goes. Sadness comes and goes. Shame and guilt are a little bit more complex. However, as long as you are willing to feel what's underneath them, it comes and goes. We have this deep fear of, oh, but if I let myself be miserable for half a day, then it will stay like this forever. No, it will not, because if you let yourself be very happy for half a day, it will not stay like that either. And it's the same thing, just on different ends of the spectrum. This was a really big win throughout my journey of meditating. Because I made myself so numb in the past, I actually used to believe that I don't have the gift of empathy. I felt like I had almost zero empathy for other people because very early on I shut down this sense of feeling because it was very overwhelming. And later, I just felt like I don't care. Someone would tell me something really sad and I don't care. I used to watch every single episode on Criminal Minds and it would not affect me. Slowly through my meditation journey, I really started to allow deep feelings. And now I'm at the complete other end of the spectrum. I feel everything and I'm having a really hard time watching anything heavy. Criminal Minds is like, I have not been able to watch that for years now. Ever since I became a parent, my threshold for emotion went further up. Every time something happens with anyone's child, even if it's just fiction, it affects me in such a bad way that I can't watch it. It takes me days to recover from the depth of the emotion of taking that in and almost visualizing what if that bad thing would happen to me. Like, it just so overwhelming. And this is why I have a hard time hearing news. I haven't read the news for 12 years and I'm fine, but every now and then the news found me. It often feels really overwhelming. I'm really grateful for my meditations here because they help me ground. They help me to bounce back into my balance, recalibrate, and find inner peace, inner joy, just inner guidance to, like, yes, the world can be negative, but all is well. Right now, right here where I am, from my perspective, all is well. And I think when you're drowning in anxiety over what happens in the world or all the bad things that we're exposed to through news and social media, when you have a place where you can return to through meditation inside, deep inside you, where it's peaceful, where it's quiet, where you get the reassurance from that inner guidance, that source consciousness that all is well, everything is happening for a reason, humankind is awakening to a brand new era, to a brand new earth, brand new world. It's just reassuring that even though there are bad things in the world, all is well. And that's a very nice thought and feeling to be able to return to. Any kind of methodology you find in your own life that will bring you back into peace, whether that's walking in nature, staring at the night sky, reading a good book in your armchair, having laughter and play with your family, going and having a swim in the ocean or in the waters, whether that's a lovely long shower. It doesn't matter. If you have one way of returning to inner peace, use it. Use it a lot because the world needs it. The world needs more people who find their ways back into peace and balance, not just people who are constantly freaking out, anxious, depressed, nervous, worried about what's going on in the world. If you wish to do that, you can put 15 minutes away, do your worry, and then do your practice and get back into balance. If you're not on the journey of meditating, or if you don't have a way of finding your way back into your inner peace, then I would love to invite you to download the Unbusy app today and start your meditation journey with me, if you feel called to do so. We have a number of meditations inside the app. Something new is coming soon called the Unbusy Challenge. I'm going to give you a few steps so that over a 2-week period, you do tiny little practices that you can easily build into your day to get back to inner balance, to be unbusy, to say no to a few things, to get distance from stuff that doesn't serve you well. So I would like to invite you to come and join us. And when you download the app, if you sign up, then you will be notified about anything new that's being added and you will not miss the Unbusy Challenge. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you and I will see you in the next video.